Welcome to the Merch Minds podcast, where we discuss everything about the Merch by Amazon business and the print-on-demand industry. Here are your hosts, Glenn and Yong.
What's up, everybody? Glenn with Hustler Hacks here. This is the Merch Minds podcast, episode number 44, Jerry West. Now, this is Yong.
Hello.
He's always here.
I'm always here. And as always, before we get into the podcast, we have to pay the bills and we have to mention the sponsors. This week's sponsor is Design Candy. If you guys haven't heard about Design Candy, man, I'm telling you, you guys are missing out. Okay, for $20 a month, you get access to one-of-a-kind designs. Okay, and then you go in, you purchase your designs, and then if you mention Merch Minds, you get 2 shirts for free. And the best thing about it is, Travis gave me some good news today. Okay.
What did he say?
He told me that his new developer, they're working on some new features right now. Pretty soon, when you buy a design, you're gonna have you get to see just how much revenue you make off of that design. So that's a cool feature. Here's the thing, man. Travis, I know him obviously through the podcast, and we interviewed him on the show. And we talk somewhat on a regular basis. He's always just thinking of new concepts and way to make Design Candy better. So go check them out, guys. They got some really good designs in there. I use them myself. No joke. Complete honesty. I usually buy about 2 to 3 designs per month. Check them out. Again, $20 a month. You get 2 designs free when you mention Merch Minds.
Also brought to you by Merch Informer, #1 research program for Merch by Amazon. You want to do some niche research by BSRs, keywords, even by merchant brand names, then go ahead and sign up for merchinformer.com. You get a free 3-day trial, and after that, it's only $19.99 per month. So go check that out, merchinformer.com. Yong, you ready to go for this show?
Yeah, man. I got some things to talk about, but
things gotta get off your chest.
Some things I need to get off my chest, man.
All right, what do you want to start with? There's a lot to get into.
Our numbers, obviously, right?
Okay, we'd start out with numbers.
Okay, you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
No. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Numbers haven't really changed since last week. I'm still doing about 15 to 16 per day. Probably on track to do somewhere between 32 to 3,300 this month. And
how many Eclipse shirts do you have out?
I have one. I'm not gonna lie. I have one.
Okay.
And guess how many I sold?
1.
0. I don't get it.
It's flooded out there.
It's flooded. Yeah, but you know what? It's all right. I have a bunch of other shirts that's been doing really good for me, so no complaints.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh no, man. But yeah, so I think let's see. So today, so far, I mean, we're just a little past 5 o'clock here on Thursday. I'm at 11 shirts, and then for the last 7 days, I'm at 111. So, not bad considering I only have 425 shirts at the 1,000 tier. And, but yeah, man, I don't get it, man. I keep hearing stories about how people are getting tiered up, and, obviously I'm joking, but at the same time, it is really frustrating because I'm like, how the heck can I get tiered up? And I know, there's that whole conspiracy theory. Oh, it's the 80-20 rule. You need to have 80% of your slots filled up. But from my understanding, I always thought it was based on how many shirts you sell. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Who knows?
But you've still been doing what, 2 or 3 a day?
Not the last couple of days. I've been doing a big goose egg. 0. Just been busy with other projects, man. But yeah. But I'm consistent, man. If I miss a couple of days, whatever. Then I'll get back on track. I'll design a few more shirts and upload them.
Yeah. Last 7 days, what about royalties? Like 700-800 or something?
Oh gosh, you know
More
what?
or less?
Yeah, something like that. I guess I can log in and give you the actual numbers. If you guys just bear with me.
This should already be ready. This is a show.
Hey, pipe down, okay? Settle down. The royalties is $730.86.
Okay.
So, yeah,
All right.
Hey,
No complaints here.
no complaints. That's pretty good money, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no complaints here. And same thing. I think last week I uploaded, a lot of just simple text-based shirts that I got like 100 of them out or 100 and something of them out.
You
just
uploaded 100 shirts last week?
Yeah, they're just like simple,
Damn.
just stuff. See what happens. A couple of them sold, but not a whole lot of them. So just gotten those out there. I haven't uploaded anything this week, so maybe tomorrow I can do something, get those out there. But as far as the numbers go, they've been pretty consistent now. It seems like a big difference between this month and last month. Last month, it was just kept on trending downward, and I was like, man, hopefully something happens to where like something can save me to where I can just go back up somehow. And now it just seems like it's consistent. Haven't really seen any like falling numbers to where I was doing like, we had a couple of those crazy days, right? It was only like 5 or something. Like they just randomly came out of nowhere. Now it's pretty consistent. I think I've sold like 16 so far. Maybe I'll finish with like 20 something. So last 7 days, 172 shirts sold. Estimated royalties, I'm at 870 and 7 cents. And it's been around the like 850 to 950 range, and then hopefully I can get that back up to the 1,000 per week range, and then we can go from there. So that'll get me back up to 4,000 range. I think that's good.
Yeah, like I said, I definitely missed the days of when I was in Atlanta, but like I said, I'm not going to complain. Could be better. I hear August and September could be better, or is going to be better. So we'll see. We're still barely into August, so who knows? Maybe like the second half of the month, things might pick up.
Yeah, and I've gotten some, requests on preparing for like Q4 for merch. And how was merch for Q4 for you last year? I'm trying to remember.
Well, it was good for everyone, I think, right? Things just really took off, and then what happened was they started restricting a lot of stuff because of capacity issues, right? Like they're running out of sizes, they're running out of colors, and then but at that time last year, for the amount of shirts that I've had, I did really good, even considering they were running low on a lot of colors and sizes.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, I totally remember now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can get into that a little bit later this year and preparing for Q4 or something like that. So again, we can do something for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So we're going to Seattle in a few weeks, couple of weeks, I think. What, 2-3 weeks? So that'll be fun. It'll be good to interact with a lot of the members in the community. To me, that's always the fun part. I love networking, right? It always opens up opportunities, and it's just always fun, and just it's good to talk business with like-minded individuals. So
that's the secret conference.
That's a secret conference. Well, it's not really a secret no more, is it?
No, I'm just kidding. Well, actually, like an email went out about it, so it's not really a secret anymore. But I don't even know how many spots are open on that one. But
I think it's 100, right? So who knows?
Yeah, but I don't even know what's left, because I think quite a bit of people signed up for that one.
Yeah. So we'll be there for that. Then let's see, and then we have our own little personal. Again, I to this day I don't know what to call it, but
seminar.
Our meetup, seminar, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be obviously you and myself. We have Mike Peterson, Margaret, Texas Gal Treasures, Travis from Design Candy is going to be there, and they're all going to be doing the presentation as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's in October 6th, Friday, October 6th. Originally, we were supposed to have it on the 7th, and unfortunately, for some reason, having it on the weekend, they were going to charge us 3 times more than the actual rate, because they were saying, oh, we don't have people here on the weekend, so if you wanted to have it on the weekend, you would basically have to pay for their salary to be there and all that. And I'm like, oh, hell no. But if you guys are interested, $60 to attend. Lunch will be provided, and I think that's a ridiculous deal. So,
oh yeah, for sure. Plus we can hang out.
Plus we get to hang out, and we'll be there all weekend. So the actual seminar is going to be on Friday, and then you and I are going to be there Saturday, Sunday. So if you guys just want to come and hang out and just talk merch and get a couple of beers or something, we'll be there. So
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Our guest.
No, hold on.
Not yet. Okay, go
ahead. I got something, man. Did you? Okay. See, this is what drives me crazy, right? This is what gets me all fired up on the show. I forgot his name. What the hell is his freaking name? Is it Dov Charney? The ex-CEO of Canadian Apparel, formerly known as the American Apparel, but for the new time listeners, Glenn and I have changed the name of American Apparel to Canadian Apparel because they were bought out by a Canadian company. So on this show, they're referred to as the Canadian Apparel. Man, this guy just won't go away, man.
What happened? I didn't even read anything.
So this dirtbag, okay? And if you guys don't know the story of him, this dude is a disgraced CEO, okay? He's done some shady stuff in the past. The guy just looks like a creep, okay? If you guys don't know what he looks like, go on Google him. He looks like a freaking sleazy used car salesman, man, okay? He just won't go away. Anyway, the dude's coming back, starting another apparel line called the Los Angeles Apparel, okay? And in an interview by Bloomberg.com, and I don't have the exact interview in front of me, but they asked him something like, and I'm paraphrasing here, are you going to continue to have sex with your employees?
What?
This freaking dirtbag responds, oh, that's a private matter or something like that. He gave like a very vague and very weird response. And it's just like, dude, I mean, if you're denying all those allegations, all those sexual allegations in the past, why would you give such a vague response? Like, I mean, if you're telling people, oh, I never did those stuff, why don't you just deny that you're not going to have sex with your employees and that you never did? Why do you give such a vague response? And again, I'm sorry. I guess I'm in front of my computer now, but I don't want to get distracted. So you guys can look it up for yourself. But this guy just won't go away. And you know what? I don't know how mainstream this new apparel line is going to go, okay? But I'm going to ask all our listeners, okay? Do not support the Los Angeles Apparel, okay? I don't care how good of a quality his shirts are, okay? If you support him, you are no longer friends of the Merch Minds podcast, because I just don't get down like that, man. This guy's a sleazeball, man.
I didn't even know any of this stuff existed.
Oh, dude. He just won't go away, man. I don't know what the deal is.
And I think American Apparel is also back with the same name, American Apparel.
Okay, so they just came back, apparently, got relaunched. So if you guys don't know the story behind that, American Apparel was bought out, half a year ago, maybe, by Gildan, which is a Canadian company, obviously referring to what I said earlier. That is why we officially call them the Canadian Apparel.
Yeah, and they're back, and they're going to be called the same thing. So they're not changing their name, nothing.
How about their apparel? Same thing?
Yeah, as far as it looks like, I'm looking at the site right now, looks like everything's kind of the same. It's just that they're owned by Canadian Apparel Company, of course.
Okay, of course. So the Canadian Apparel, they are back. But yeah, so let's get into today's guest. If you guys ever wondered what happens when your account gets suspended, this is the episode for you. We have a guest who is actually a friend of mine as well, who lives here locally. He told me that his account had gotten suspended, and I asked him if he's willing to come on the show and talk about it, and he's like, yeah, man. He goes, I'm an open book. I'll talk about it. Mo Fremont, for those of you guys that don't know, that is his name, and you guys might recognize him as well from the Niche Reseller podcast. So go check him out on there as well. And you done some work for him, right?
Oh yeah, I did some design stuff. The logo for his podcast and some other stuff I did. I think maybe like a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Real cool guy.
Cool guy. Yeah. So he's gonna talk about what happened. The good thing is he got his account reinstated, but again, he's gonna tell us exactly what happened and how his account got suspended. Have you guys ever wondered what happens when your account gets suspended? Well, if you have, this is the perfect episode for you, because we have who's actually a friend of mine. He lives here locally. We actually hung out this past weekend, and he had told me what happened with his account, and I invited him. He agreed to be on the show, and Mo Fremont, just want to thank you for being on the show, because I know not many people are comfortable talking about this topic, but you're like, oh man, hey, yeah, whatever, I'll talk about it. I don't care. So Mo, go ahead. First of all, introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
Hey, name's Mo Fremont on Facebook. I'm just your average reseller. I've been on merch for going on a little bit over a year now. And so, yeah, that's about it. You can find me anywhere on Facebook. That'd be the easiest way.
Anywhere on Facebook. And you do have your own podcast, and that's something that we'll talk about later in the show. Mo.
Yep.
What the hell were you doing, man?
All right. I'm a cautionary tale. It was the dumbest thing, but kind of an easily dumb thing. So, you know how merch works. I mean, you guys know better than most that they kind of level you up. So I was really struggling, kind of leveling up. And then I want to say about March, maybe April, they leveled me up to 500 shirts.
Nice.
I was stoked. I was like, yes. All right, let's start listing. So then I got into this routine. I think they let me list 4 a day. That was what it was. So around 10 p.m., I would list. I mean, most of my shirts are real basic. I'm not a graphic artist like you guys. So most of them, 99% are text-based. Mm-hmm. So I would get in from about 10 to midnight. I'd get them in. They locked and loaded. Then within a month, they leveled me up to 1,000. Still not exactly sure why. I only had about 200-something shirts sold. Nice. So I was real surprised because it took a long time. I was at like the 100 level for like a year nearly. So anyway, so I was really excited. And then next thing I saw is that number 20 next to it. I'm like, well, I'm going to go listing 4 shirts to 20. I'm like, all right, maybe I can do this. So maybe I started around 9 o'clock now, but I've got kids. So usually sometimes 9 o'clock is at 9 o'clock. So it's like 9:30, 9:45. Mm-hmm. And then I think I got a little cocky because what I was doing was I was actually relisting a bunch of eBay stuff and merch at the same time on the same evening. I must have started around 10 o'clock. And I was listing Barbie dolls. I have these vintage Barbie dolls that I was relisting. So I wasn't listing, I was just kind of adjusting the titles. Mm-hmm. So the stupidest thing was I went in there and obviously I've got the word Barbie. So I'm going back and forth between doing merch shirts and eBay listings. Uh-huh. And I copied the word Barbie into I believe it was not. It was either the title only or the title and the tags, and I hit enter. As soon as I did that, I'm like, oh, I nearly swore, so I didn't want to swear, but I said, oh, expletive, and it was. I'm like, you can't do anything at that point. I'm like, it's like 11 at night, and I've just submitted a Barbie shirt, and it doesn't even say that. I think it was like a shirt with the word fire on it or something. So complete opposite. Doesn't make sense. And then, so I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So then I went through and I tried to see if there's anything you could do. And maybe you guys know, but there's nothing I could find.
Yeah, you kind of go through the review process and it kind of just stays there. You can't really do anything about it. But at this point, you're freaking out.
Really?
How many Barbie listings were there that you, I guess, entered the word? Was just one, or is it?
It's either 3 or 4.
Okay. Nice.
I was just kind of going back and forth. I'm like, obviously I had 2 different like kind of notepads open, and I was relisting this, and I was listing the shirts at the same time. So I had the shirt designs done, and I was just doing the keywords and titles. Really, really not what you want to ever do. Even if I wasn't listening to eBay at all, just your time. This is just dumb. So it's 3 or 4 shirts, and then so the next day in the morning, I'm looking at it, and of course it says under review. So for 4 days, it was under review.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Yes, I'm crying every night. I'm like, so, and then on the 5th night, I believe it was, all of a sudden the shirt numbers are down, but only by 4. And then I looked at the rejected, and those 4 shirts were in the rejected.
Okay.
But that was it. No email, nothing.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, maybe I'm good. This is like mid-April, something like that. So then a couple of days go by, still no emails, nothing. And I've gone through all my shirts at this point, all the titles, everything. There's no more Barbies, nothing. And there's nothing, no response, nothing. I'm like, okay, I'm good. A week goes by, and I almost forget about it until I go to check in, log in. I can log in to merch. Mm-hmm. Before it said, you got your daily, you got 20, and you can list up to 1,000. Now it says you've hit your maximum, and this is like 8 a.m. in the morning. You've hit your maximum, and your maximum is now 226.
Very odd number. Well, not it's even, but odd.
Really weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. So then I'm like, okay, maybe it's a glitch, and I waited for the evening, same thing. So I can log in, I can look at everything, I can adjust shirts, I can edit shirts, but I can't, to my knowledge, I'm scared to list a shirt at this point. So a day or 2 goes by, I'm scared to email merch. I didn't email them. So what I did was I went in there and I tried to list a shirt. It doesn't. It lets you put it in draft. That's the only thing it lets you do. So then I thought maybe I can delete one and put one in. Maybe that would work. No, that wasn't good. It went down to 225.
Wow.
So they were on to me. I'm like, okay. So then I finally, this is 2 days later, I emailed them. And then no response for a week.
For a week?
For a week. There's nothing. No response. Nothing at all. And then after a week, I get basically a generic email that comes back. And it says, the email I sent to them was, hi, I didn't say I was a new seller. I've been selling on merch for a year. I've gone through all my listings. I don't see any issues. Mm-hmm. But if there are, could you please let me know? Because I used to be able to list up to 1,000 shirts. Now it says 225. So then a week later, they respond with a kind of a generic, except for the top line. The top line says something like, after numerous, what are the exact words? Are basically infractions. We found that you had numerous infractions. Please go through all your listings, and you have been suspended for 30 days. After 30 days, we will review. Didn't say we'll reinstate. We'll review your accounts.
Crazy.
And that was it. So I tried responding 2 or 3 times. Nothing. No response. Nothing at all. And then the number still says 225. So at that point, I was going through my shirts and basically deleting keywords, going through everything. Basically, multiple infractions. I'm like, okay, maybe I did this before.
Yeah.
I was dumb that one night. I might have been dumb before. Who knows? But I mean, I didn't know. I was freaking out. I'm like, oh no. I had it good, and then I just messed it up. But anyway, so then this was, I want to say, at this point, at the beginning of May. And then nearly clockwork, 30 days later, the beginning of June, I didn't get any responses, nothing. The account was reinstated. 30 days.
You got no notification from them.
Nothing. But it was 30 days on the dot. Reinstated.
And how many could you upload now? You're still at 1,000?
I went back to 1,000.
Just back to normal.
Back to normal.
Okay, so it's back to normal. Okay, so you want to add any more to the story?
I think that's everything.
That's everything. Okay, so I think Glenn probably has a few questions, and I obviously have a few questions. Okay, so first of all, I'm trying to picture your work habit here. Why are you going back and forth from eBay to merch? First of all,
okay, I know it's disrespectful to any, hardworking merch designer. Because I want to preface, I'm not a designer. These are not designs.
Right.
Text-based. So that's, I wouldn't be designing in 5 seconds. I wouldn't even know how to. So what I basically did was I was kind of freaked out about the idea of listing 20 shirts. I'm like, how the hell do I list 20 shirts a day? And the first day I had that, I didn't even list the shirt. I'm like, how do I do this? Then I thought, maybe if I just get a couple of text-based shirts and I'll do 4 or 5, I can do variations on specific words. And I did look up the words.
Mm-hmm.
I was up to, and I looked them up, very, generic terms, and then nothing fancy at all. I didn't have like a paragraph in the description or anything like that. So I just thought, if I have these ready to go, I do them in the morning, and in the evening, I'll just list them. I don't know why I thought it'd be easier if I split it up. I just thought it'd be a time save. Yeah, it's not the best, because now what I do is I basically barely list any shirts. I list like 2 or 3 shirts a day at most. And I take like half an hour to 45 minutes per. And these are still text-based shirts, just because I'm checking everything.
So those 4 shirts,
yes,
they were not Barbie shirts though whatsoever.
No. One of them I remember the first one I looked at. It had the word fire or something on it. It's like fire up or fire is a generic term. I don't even know where I got it. Sure. And then that was it. And then and it's just
so that makes me think, because, and I've said this I think a couple of episodes ago, because I just checked the other day. I have 9 rejected shirts to date. And a lot of them were, again, they weren't intentional. I wasn't trying to do something, yeah, man, seriously. I wasn't trying to create like a Star Wars t-shirt. It was just one of those things, like I said, it's kind of like you, Mo, where, there's always that human element. Glenn, I'm sure you've done this, right? Where you think of a term, you don't even bother checking to see if it's trademarked, and you just kind of go through the whole process, and then right when it's in the processing state, you're like, damn it, I forgot to check the trademark. And when you go back and check, sure enough, it's trademarked, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So like I said, up to this point, I have 9 rejected shirts. And my account obviously is still active. And it sounds like, I guess Amazon went after you then, because it sounds like they probably thought that you were just being malicious about uploading Barbie shirts.
I think so.
Because that's 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Right. On one day.
Within like 10 minutes.
Within 10 minutes. Yeah. So you have a target on your back from Amazon right now.
The only thing I could equate this to is I've heard of some, I mean, not that I'm getting off subject a little bit. With Amazon, I heard something about people getting kicked off on regular, like FBA private label Amazon. And kind of it saves up, like, what do you call it? Like, say they have an infraction, but they don't always tell them about it right away. And maybe when they get their 2nd or 3rd or 4th, that's when Amazon kicks in and like, all right, this guy's doing something. So maybe it's a similar thing with merch. Like if it's more than one, I'm not saying go out and do one even, but I mean, if it's, like you said, 2 or 3 or 4, like, okay, you've just been, you set them off basically.
Right. I mean, you pissed off Jeff.
Yes.
Wow. Glenn, do you have anything?
Man, I don't even know what to start off with the questions. I guess, man, in this case, maybe it just has something to do with how popular the word is or term or something. I mean, Barbie, or let's say Star Wars or something like that, like you said, 4 in a row, maybe just instantly triggered it. But maybe if it was just like a term that was kind of generic but actually was trademarked, I mean, who really knows what, I guess, gets you.
Well,
I don't know.
I think it's common sense. I think because here's the thing, and I think we all agree here, right? We have a lot of people that crossed over from the reselling community
Yeah.
to merch,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Well, we can all agree on that. So with that said, I think it's just common sense. And I'm not picking on you, Mo. I mean, obviously you're going back and forth between eBay and merch, which, first of all, I think that's just hilarious. But I think it's just common sense that people, especially if you're from the reselling community, words like Star Wars and Barbie, they're trademarked, right?
Yeah.
Like we should just know that off the bat.
Yeah.
So I guess one lesson you learned here is not to go back and forth between FBA and eBay and Etsy, whatever and merch. So that's number one. So I'm curious now then. So you're doing all your designs then, right?
I wouldn't call them designs, but yes, I do all my text-based designs.
Have you ever thought about outsourcing and like getting
I've
like
started to. I was talking to somebody about this too. And like, I even went to the point of looking up designers and everything, but I'm kind of paranoid about, some people talk about using like Upwork and things like that. I looked that up and then I just kind of scrapped the idea, only because I don't want somebody else doing the same thing I did. And, they wouldn't even care about it. But I mean, a real designer, yeah, I have thought about it, and I'm probably going to do that, especially since I don't really have a design background at all. So,
have you considered the services of a person by the name of Mr. Hacks?
Mr. Hacks, that's funny.
I've used Mr. Hacks multiple times. Actually, he actually did our logo. So I mean, yes. But I mean, as far as merch, yeah. To be honest, I'm probably going to be hiring a designer because, I just don't. That's not something I do very well.
Yeah. I mean,
do you want? Well, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you want to talk about, I guess, your payout or payouts so far with your designs and how much you've made with merch, and what happened with your payouts during your suspension?
Sure. That didn't change at all. I mean, obviously, I couldn't add shirts, so it went down.
Mm-hmm.
Like my highest payout ever was probably Q4 of last year. I cracked $400. It was like $416 or something like that.
Okay.
So my payouts earlier this year, they dropped a little bit. So during that time, they dropped probably slightly below $300.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I am, between $300 and $400, give or take.
Okay.
So then, speaking of payouts, then, did that 30-day pause of your account, did that interfere with your payout?
No. I mean, in terms of getting paid, no, it did not.
They still paid you out then?
They still paid me out.
Wow. Because I could have swore, Glenn, and correct me if I'm wrong, and Mo, if you know this, let me know. Don't they have it in writing somewhere saying that if you do get suspended or something, that they will withhold your pay?
I think you have to get terminated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm scared now.
Okay, so I mean, I'm just trying to understand. So I mean, so where are you at then as far as trying to upload designs? Like, are you? I mean, obviously you're being extra careful. I'm assuming.
Unbelievably careful. To be honest, I went probably at least a week and a half without uploading anything. And then I started doing like one a day. I think most I've done since then is 3. Still text-based, but I check everything back and forth. Because I've checked things before, and then you go back and you check it somewhere else. And I'm like, wait a second, that's kind of confusing. All right, I scrap this now. When before I might not have scrapped it. But now, like, for example, the big thing for me before, and this is probably not a good idea, was I would take, not I guess phrases that you get in TV shows and movies and I would try and tweak them a little bit so it's not so obvious. So that's probably not a good idea either. So because I mean, I'm guessing that like these big movie companies or whatever have those trademarked too. They just
I'm sure.
Fine. So so that took away a lot of what I was doing, because I would go to like obscure movies and find something and then change it slightly, which is probably not a good idea.
But at least, I mean, you still got paid out during that time, so at least that's good. But now, would you say you're a little paranoid then? I guess to continue, to continue uploading.
Yeah.
So I wonder. So how many shirts do you have live now?
Oh, well, I've re-uploaded some, so I'm probably at about 378 the last time I checked.
Okay.
So yeah, but then I have big chunks before that, so they go down. I think it went down quite considerably, but I don't know. I might be taking down some of those 378 even. I don't know. I kind of have to go through them again.
Yeah. Well, they'll be eliminated, I guess, the ones that don't sell anyway within 90 days. So
true.
Those will go down, and then, but you have up to 1,000 to fill up, right?
Yeah, I have up to 1,000. Yeah.
Okay.
So you had to 1,000. So I mean, so they never sent you an email, but they responded to the message you sent them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To be honest, it could have been that was their generic email. Because it didn't actually have any specific terms, like my account name wasn't in there. Obviously, they emailed me, but that could have been a generic email. I mean, I've gone through it. It sounded specific, but then again, you're getting suspended for having multiple infractions is pretty generic when you think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't say anything about, because this is where so if you guys listen to the podcast, one of my biggest fears, and I've said this openly, right? My biggest fear is having my account suspended for some reason, right? And because I've worked really hard to get to the point that I'm at, and for me to lose this income stream is pretty significant, right? I mean, I just did 3K this past month. I did 4,500 in June, so that's a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
Like, do they tell you, like, okay, well, if you get X number of shirts rejected from us again, your account's going to be terminated? Do they tell you anything like that?
No. The only thing it asked me to do was go back and check, because they will review this in 30 days. Make sure that you have no more, what was the exact wording, like copyrighted or trademarked items listed. They basically told me to go back and check everything, and they'll take a look in 30 days.
And did you? Did you actually go back and
I went through, and I mean, it was pretty easy because my stuff's text-based anyway, so I didn't have to worry about logos in that sense.
Sure.
But at the same time, you don't know every term. I mean, something could be trademarked, you don't know. And then plus it could have been trademarked. I've been doing this for over a year now. In that year, something could have been trademarked. Who knows? Maybe they just checked it now and before. I don't even know how that works. But I mean,
right. See, and that's the thing that we talked about, right, on the show multiple times now. Is like, you don't know what Amazon thinks. Like when I was at San Jose State. By the way, Mo is an alumni of San Jose State.
Right.
Go Spartans. Just had to throw it out there. Like when I was at San Jose State, my instructor told me, typically when something is trademarked after, like for instance, the example would be, I don't know, let's just say Barbie as an example, right? Let's say Barbie didn't even exist at the moment, and I made a shirt that says Barbie, but then Barbie comes out, and like a year later, they come out with their line of products. I was told that I should be in the safe zone because I created that product, my shirt, with that term long before they even existed, right? That's what I was told. Maybe I'm wrong. I keep hearing people saying that, oh, you give out wrong information. I never said I was an expert, so just shut the hell up, okay? I'm just telling you what I learned. So that's what I was told. So, but we don't know what Amazon thinks, and that's what drives me crazy. It's like, man, you wish, and I wish, that there was a little more communication from them, because I think most of us want to follow rules and directions that they provide to us. I don't think a lot of us maliciously try to break the rules. I mean, I think in your case, you just got sidetracked with your eBay business. But I think for the most part, I think most of us are honest people.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the legality goes, I mean, I would have no idea. But I mean, I don't know. I think if something stands out, and that they're going to notice it. So if something really stands out, like 4 times in a row in a very major brand, that probably had something to do with it.
Yeah. You know what someone sent me today, Glenn. I think you'll laugh at this. I think you'll both laugh at this. And this is the kind of stuff that people are doing. Okay, so one of the top selling shirts right now is the whole Eclipse shirts, right?
Yeah.
So someone's and I can't say who it is, but someone sent me a link, and this is the kind of stuff that makes us look bad. People that are actually following directions. Someone made a freaking Eclipse shirts using the Death Star from Star Wars. Yo, man, this person should be banned. He should be deported. They should just get rid of this person immediately. But yeah, I mean, it just some of the stuff that goes up on Amazon it just blows my mind. Like, I don't know how stuff like this even slips through the cracks.
I saw like a Wu-Tang shirt the other day too.
Oh, who?
Wu-Tang.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. It was Ric Flair.
Yeah.
No, because I saw that because someone. Huh? No, because I saw this because someone posted it in the group. So it was a picture of Ric Flair, and if you guys don't know who Ric Flair is, he's a
nature boy.
Yeah, he's a professional wrestler, and his whole signature what is it, slogan or his basically his little signature thing that he does on TV would be woo, right? That's what he does. So someone made a picture of him with his face and then the Wu-Tang logo, basically Wu-Tang. I'm just like, how does see, people like that, their accounts should be suspended, terminated.
Well, how does that even get through? That should be the main
that's
thing.
the point that I'm trying to make. Is like, how does stuff like that even go through the cracks? Like, it makes no sense, right? And I don't know, but but the good news is, Mo, you did say you got your account reinstated, so that's good, man. So when can we? When are you gonna hire Glenn? Basically.
Give me about 5 minutes to get off the show. I'll hire him.
Okay. When are you gonna hire me? And I actually live local. We actually hang out every now and then. What's the problem?
All right. I'm gonna hire you guys right after the show.
Both.
You twisted my arm.
I'm just giving you a hard time, man. But before we go, man, I want to give you an opportunity to go ahead and plug your podcast as well, because you have a podcast.
Yes, fledgling podcast. It's just called the Reseller Niche Podcast. We just kind of more reselling based. So we'd love to have you guys on if you ever get a chance. I know it's not reselling based, but the whole thing is just talking about different areas that maybe people aren't talking about as much.
Oh yeah. Even
though merch is huge, but I mean, so yeah, that's it. Just we're on YouTube and iTunes, just like these guys. And actually, you guys were kind of the inspiration starting a podcast. I didn't really listen to too many podcasts before that.
Oh, nice. Really?
Yep.
Say that again, one more time.
wait, I didn't hear that. What was that?
Yeah, just say it a little louder. I couldn't hear you.
I said Ric Flair Wu-Tang shirts are awesome.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Well, they are awesome. Just not that particular shirt on Amazon. But
last question though, what's your future for merch look like then? Are you gonna eventually try to get up to 10, 20 a day, or go back to kind of like normal, or you think you're just gonna maybe just be super cautious and try to do 2 or 3 a day from here on out?
I have to treat this like the business that it is. I have to get a real designer to do some real designs. I have to have it checked backwards and forwards. I mean, I might do some text like I might do 50-50 split to start with, but I think bottom line is I got to get a real designer. Treat this like a business, because otherwise there's no point doing it at all.
All right, very nice.
Absolutely.
There you go, Yong.
So check him out. Reseller Niche podcast. Is it niche or niche? I could never understand how to pronounce it.
That's the old argument.
Right. I mean, tomato. I don't get it. But check out his podcast. And anything else before we go? Any closing words or thoughts there, Mo?
No, just don't be dumb at before midnight. And just do your work earlier in the day and get some sleep. That's what I would say.
Plus, you're a family man, so I mean, things happen. Yong's over here living the life. I mean,
hey, I'm living the good life. Okay, living the good life. Mo, hey, I really appreciate you being on the show and sharing your story, man.
No, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This is my first interview ever, actually.
Oh, so there you go. Cool, man. Well, thanks again, and let's get together soon. For the people that don't know, Mo and I, we try and get together in person occasionally, because I think, and I've said this in the podcast before, I think the best thing you can do in any business is get together with like-minded individuals and just network, and you'll be surprised at just what a simple conversation face-to-face would do for your business. So Mo, let's definitely get together here in the near future.
Definitely.
So I guess the moral of the story here is don't be like Mo, okay? And no disrespect to Mo, that's my buddy. But if you're doing eBay, focus on eBay. If you're doing merch, just focus on merch. What'd you think? What'd you think about the story?
I thought it was a funny story. Like, I didn't even know what to expect for the interview, but I thought it was pretty funny, though. But only 4 strikes. That's what kind of concerns me, I guess, because it...
Well, his was back to back.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And it was a very popular, of course, brand. But still, in 30 days, at least he got it back. He wasn't terminated completely for his mistake. So...
And it's just, again, there's no communication from Amazon. Like, if I was Mo, and I'm sure he thinks about this all the time, but it's like, well, if I mess up one more time, my account's going to get terminated. And I don't know if that's the case, but surely that has to be on the back of his mind. So that's probably making him more extra careful.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He pretty much said, I mean, from here on out, he's going to be super careful about this whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, thanks, Mo, for being on the show, and again for the listeners, check out his podcast as well. Give him some love. Go subscribe. Anything else before we go?
I think we're good.
What jersey are you wearing, man?
Kobe.
Kobe, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, my man. Well, hey, have a wonderful weekend. I'm sure you and I will talk here in the next few days. We talk on a regular basis. So until then, you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll be back next week with another episode.
See ya.
Cool. So